All right, we're good. All right, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. Guys, thank you all for being online for us. After we didn't get most of these in till yesterday and today, so one of the things I think we discussed that we wanted to bring up was maybe allowing the board members to take these home and study them, and then collaborate back in a couple of weeks. In all fairness to all of you and us, because we just got all this yesterday and today, and there's no possible way we could make a good decision and be fair to you all or the board or the school system in that matter. So I think that's the recommendation we was gonna make. Is everybody all right with that?
Yes.
Somebody gonna put that in form of a motion?
The only thing is, the only question I had, I don't really have a date to give them yet, because we don't know what we're gonna do with summer law, and we don't know what we're gonna do with the August meeting, because it's on election day.
Well, can we not do it Thursday night, get everybody's calendar?
Oh, we can make a date maybe.
Make a date.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do, is find out what you all wanted to do, and everybody about the summer law and the August meeting.
We have an email contact for everyone, so as soon as you all set a date,
Yeah,
then we can shoot an email to them and they can,
okay.
they'll be able to participate.
So if you guys heard that, Mr. Patrick was saying, we have all your email contacts and information. As soon as we set a date, hopefully Thursday night, we'll set a date. We're gonna further discuss how we're gonna decipher all this, in all fairness. And then, we'll get back with you all through email, or maybe Jennifer or Dr. Flannery will. And that way we'll give you a date and time when we can get together and make a final decision. So do we need to put in a motion that we're gonna move it forward, or just
All right, there's no,
leave it at that?
I think you just leave it at that, and, I mean, you're just making a recommendation that full board study it, and we'll set a date Thursday, so,
Out of this committee?
well, the full board will set the date. So,
Okay.
and when we meet again,
Right.
I assume that's what you want to do.
Yeah, okay. All right. Couple other things I had on here. Y'all got this Boones Creek brick?
Gray Elementary.
Gray Elementary, I'm sorry. Mr. Hutton put this together. It does not have a price in it. Basically, he wanted us to go through it and let the board look at it, make a recommendation that we want to go through. Yeah. And make a recommendation that we, if we want him to actually put pricing on this, so that we can move forward with maybe getting some money to get this fixed.
Except for Mr. Singer,
He's got some pretty good details in here.
Yeah, he's got one page there that shows you what is happening with the brick now every 6 or so courses. And plenty of pictures to illustrate what's happening. In talking with Stephen Hutton, it looks like a real straightforward correction without having to take all the brick off and re-brick the entire school. I've actually put a what we call a helicoil in there, and it'll use a masonry bit to drill all the way back into the cinder block, or what we call the cement block, the main structure of the school, and then tie the brick to it where that brick tile was.
Now, this Steve Hutton's just an engineer
Now, he's an architect.
and architect.
Yeah.
So when we go to fix it, do we still bid it out, or is he the one doing the job?
He'll bid it out.
He's the one that got it and everything?
Yeah, we'll probably have to
Okay.
bid it to a general contractor.
Okay.
And, they may hire, the general contractor may hire somebody, he may have plenty of people to do it.
Okay.
It just depends on how they wanna do that.
And
Make a
he-
license and bond it.
What'd he say? Possibly 20, 30%?
Yeah, probably 20%, at least 20% less. I mean, 20% of what it would cost to re-brick the entire building. So,
Say thousands, probably. So, I guess we need, so I was hoping we'd just recommend to the full board to, for our, to move forward with hiring or allowing him, do we have a fee for this?
You haven't been billed yet, let me
That's
say
what I was
that.
wondering, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what we would do is discuss what we owe him for this, and then figure out what he's gonna charge to handle the rest of it and bid it out, in my opinion, and then we can go to the, I actually talked to the mayor for a minute today and kinda told him we may be asking for money soon. He said, how much? I was like, well, we don't know yet.
Well, I mean, they set aside $6 million in
Yeah.
capital funds for us this year.
So I think this, and one thing he did, Mr. Patrick and I talked with him yesterday, and one thing he did say was, if we get some bad winters with the moisture and stuff, this thing could really pop. So I don't think we can hold up anymore on this deal. We need to get it.
So, I'm confused a little bit now. You said we didn't have to bid it out, right?
Yes, we have to
do
bid it
have to
out,
bid
yes,
it out,
sir,
Okay.
yes.
That's what I thought, anything over, what, 50,000?
And what, but it'd be my recommendation to go ahead and put this thing, move forward with it. Let him get us a budget number to take to, the county commissioner, Hugh. We're gonna have to do something here either way, and I think the facilities and the board has decided with Mr. Hutton's firm. So, you know, let's go ahead and direct myself or the director to have him secure budget numbers, and we'll see what that is. We'll take it to you and then move from there. And then he'll put his percentage on it too.
When did we start using, I thought we still gonna use Streets Bunch at, we never bought them out, what happened there?
Well, we voted on this upstairs.
Sure did.
Easy.
Taylor Board Action brought this guy under.
Mhm.
So,
Well, cause well, for example, Keith,
Well, I don't-
we've been talking about tearing the brick off of it.
you sure did.
Ever since I've been here, you've been talking about tearing the brick off of it, now we found
Oh,
a
I
way
know,
that's,
yeah.
so, I think that's why you
It's
gotta
always
have
been a
some.
money issue,
Yeah,
too.
well, yeah, I think that's why you have some fresh eyes on things, and nothing against Mr. Street, but I mean, it just,
Well, I'll make a motion that we move forward with this and get a budget number,
Yes, sir.
to take to the commission,
HEW.
the HEW, so we can move forward.
say,
Dan, did you tell HEW that we didn't have any business with them?
I haven't, I just saw that on the calendar today, they had one coming up.
Not all let them know they won't do it. We got nothing for them.
Okay.
It'll be a few days.
so I guess we do all in favor on that?
Yeah.
And he said he did.
Likewise. The other thing, couple things I was gonna mention, I don't know if you guys can tell me what you think. I'd also mentioned when I talked to him today about the Boones Creek Elementary School. And I don't know if we need to take this to the board or, mention it, but I had mentioned to the mayor about, if they're not gonna buy, if the state's not gonna take the building, we're not gonna give them the building, then we needed some financial help. That was gonna be coming to them probably. So I don't know if we need to discuss that Thursday night amongst the,
It would be good if the board were to send us to HEW with a request for financial assistance.
okay,
That way it'd be a board action and it'd be all above board.
yeah,
We're talking about the elementary school.
yes,
Because, the original plan was that tomorrow they would take that building over. Well, that fell through when they lost $1 billion in state funding.
and he actually was happy with the idea. He told me, he said, this gives me some good ammo to go to state. Cause I told him, I said, we can't keep paying for it. If we're not gonna sell it, we're not gonna use it, nobody else is gonna use it. Mr. Patrick's guys are having to go out there and keep an eye on it, and I think maybe the sheriff's department using it.
The sheriff uses it from time to
Little
time for
bit.
SWAT training.
But I mean, yeah, either way, it's just costing us a lot of money. If we ain't gonna do nothing with it, we need to sell it too.
What is it costing us, do you know?
It's bust up to $9,000 a month, a little bit more than the school.
Well, Is the TCAT thing completely off the table now? I mean.
It's not off the table,
Okay.
it just didn't get funded. The request was put in and it went all the way through the process, right into the governor's budget level, and then that's one of the things that got cut.
So, I mean, I'd hate to get rid of it, and, you know, it's still a chance. I mean, I know it's not gonna happen now, maybe in the next year,
Yeah,
but I don't wanna lose out on that, because we decided we can't wait and sell it.
We're just trying to get the money.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying. I just don't want, I don't want this board to say, hey, let's sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to hang on to it and
We're
get
just trying to get a little
help
cash
from the
flow.
commission.
Yeah.
You get a
Well,
supplement for it.
Yeah.
To help out.
we don't know what we're gonna do with it. We just need a little help funding it.
little rent money, so.
Yeah, that's all we need. So I think we ought to take that.
I'll
Like
make-
Dr. Flanders said, come up with a number, if it's 5,000 a month or whatever it is, let's take something to them and say, hey, we need a little help here, because they want it for the county as bad as we want it for our schools, I would think.
TCAT was ready to move in and start classes this last spring, and they
Yeah.
just couldn't make it work.
Well, I make a motion, we ask Dr. Flannery to take this to Hugh as well.
Yes,
Take this to Hugh and ask for assistance in the operating cost, even though we're not operating it, but the cost to keep the school until the TCAT situation is addressed, I guess.
Aha.
Hello, Mitch.
Hello, crew.
Was you gonna say
Jason,
that?
Todd,
Hello.
Keith. Who else is there? Anybody?
Me?
You. I see Jason. I see Todd. I see Keith. Jennifer.
Bill and Philip and Tweedledee and Tweedledum sitting over there, so.
All right.
You wanna repeat that?
No, I'd rather you look for a second.
Second. We got a second?
I'll second it.
Well, Mr. Patrick seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, let's see.
you've got a little facilities update on Mr. Patrick.
Okay. You gonna do that now?
If you, whatever y'all like, if,
Give me
somebody
one more
put it
second.
on
Let
the
me
big
get one
screen.
more second.
There it is.
Also on this right here, for the energy systems deal we're doing, the other note I had on here was how y'all wanna handle, and Mr. Irvin even mentioned it, do we wanna hire somebody to decipher this? Or do we wanna leave it at our own discretion?
Well, you got some insight into that earlier today. What was that you said?
Well, you know, let's say if the board wanted to hire somebody, and I think Dr. Flannery had a great analogy, it'd be like me going and asking a surgeon, which surgeon's the best, and not use him. You know, it's like if I go ask an engineer to evaluate these programs,
Mhm.
he's gonna say, well, why don't you just let me do it then? You know, I mean, you know,
Well, if we ask the architect,
The money involved.
yeah, I mean, anybody that you ask to do this type of research is gonna want some money, to do
well,
that.
I don't disagree with that. Are we, I mean,
Do we think we can do it ourselves?
do we all think we're capable of doing it ourselves? You think so?
I think when we look at the line of what they say they can save the system, and what they are gonna do for that building, I mean, we all know what would be good and what we don't think is as good as another, do we not?
Mm-hmm.
And what their performance has been, we can evaluate that. We can also, who's gonna do the most upgrades, we can see the upgrades they're gonna make. And keeping in mind all the time that if we let them have more of the system, then there will be better upgrades in all the buildings,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I don't know the right answer, so that's,
Each one of these programs, each one of these proposals has a a table in it that tells you the savings. And you can
Right.
see that, dollars and cents.
Right.
And then each one has the upgrade recommendations. And over a 15 or 20-year period, and they'll tell you what they'll upgrade. So I think based on that, I think we're smart enough to make those decisions.
Okay.
But we also just can't look at the bottom line savings. We gotta see what they're doing to get those
Right, you really
savings.
can't just look at the bottom line savings. You've got to, if you're gonna do any upgrades on the building, if you don't just, if you wanna pocket some cash like some, board members have spoke of, you'll make those really big upgrades that save a lot of money, and then you can bank money if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think we need to upgrade some of the systems we have. So, you know, there's some of those decisions we need to make.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna make a suggestion on that then if, I mean, the board voted for this committee to bring back a recommendation. So I think we need to review this stuff. Let's have another committee meeting, whether it's a week from now, 2 weeks from now, whenever, and let's have an open discussion on it.
Mhm.
So I can understand what you're seeing, you can understand what I'm seeing, Philip can help us,
Yeah.
so everybody's understanding the same thing.
I'm good with that if we can get everybody here.
And then if we're not getting anywhere with it, maybe we have to hire somebody
Yeah.
to help
So,
us.
so do we Thursday night recommend to the full board that we want a date that everyone can participate in this meeting?
Well, sure, I mean, it's open to everybody, so yeah. I
I
mean,
know, but-
you ultimately could set a facilities date anytime meeting, you
Yeah.
know, and,
I just want them to
ask
come.
everybody to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like for them to come so we could
And I think that's what I would do is
iron
just
it out.
find me a date and ask that everybody attend. That way you can be a part of the process and have some input. And
Yeah.
if they choose not to come, then there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, okay. Let me throw one more thing out there. Something was kind of brought to my attention, which I thought was a pretty good point. The portables at all these schools, talking about cost savings, are those necessary anymore?
I know the ones at Gray are used, where else?
The bar-
Let me clarify. Some of the portables that are being used can be abandoned, but students can be moved inside the building, so.
Or being used,
But
they
they-
just don't need to be used?
There's, you know, needs to be assessment done by the principal of each campus and see if they can move those children into the building, which is a much safer and a much more sound building. And then we can abandon these portables, sell them. Some of them may not be worth selling, but it could be a significant savings, not in water especially, but in electricity and insurance.
Well, and safety, like you said, get the kids back in the building. I like to get the board on board with that. I don't know if we need a recommendation to do that or what, but as facilities, I thought that'd be a facility discussion.
I guess my recommendation on that would be have Dr. Flannery get with those principals that have them, see what they're using them for, and bring it back to the board and see if we can get rid of them.
Two immediate thoughts. One, if you give a principal an empty square foot, he or she will fill it with something.
Mhm.
Mike, go ahead.
And secondly, I wouldn't decrease your footprint at all until we get this COVID-19 thing out of the way for social distancing purposes. That might be something you wanna do in the spring, once there is a vaccine or.
Yeah. Is there a, and I'm fine with that, but is there a way to track the expense of using that? And here's what I don't wanna do. I don't want this to sound mean, but I don't, like you just said, if you ask the principal if she needs it or he or she, they're gonna say yes. So I don't think you really want it. But can you prove that they have room in the school for the kids?
That's what I want. I want to know what they're
Yeah.
using it for.
Yeah.
And then I think Dr. Flannery will be able to assess with them whether they can be moved inside, if you got room.
Yes, you know, a lot of times they're used for like instrumental music, so
Yeah.
that everybody in the building doesn't have to listen to it. or it's used for school-age childcare because they want that better access to parents picking kids up, so. It's not as easy as just moving a program in the building. But yeah, we'll look at every instance of it. Right here, we'll-
Okay. One more thing.
It's the third one more thing.
He's like Chad. Sorry, Chad.
Don't make fun of my boy, he ain't here.
Yes,
Is he here?
he's on the screen.
He's all ears. I would like to discuss.
I didn't appreciate that, I just want you to know.
Sorry, buddy. I'd like to discuss here or at the board meeting, one or the other. I think we need to relook at the price on Boones Creek Middle sooner than later. I know Chairman ain't gonna love that, but there's no interest in it whatsoever. I mean, I've talked to several people besides our realtors, and the word on the street is the board has no room, will not budge, so we're not gonna get any offers until we get a little more realistic with where we're at. I know we all think it's worth a fortune, but I think that I'd like to rehash that out amongst our board.
Well, if I want something and I don't like the price, I go ahead and throw a price out there anyway, see if they'll take it. You know,
Well,
and
I know, but everybody in the county don't know you're not willing to negotiate either.
Well, you ever thought about,
how do they know we ain't willing to negotiate when we ain't had a chance?
I watch it on TV.
why
We ain't had a
don't we,
chance.
let me ask you, since we're discussing it, why don't we, how long have we got with a year? Well, all right, let's sit on it. And then at the year, let's give it to somebody else and see if they want to try to sell it.
I don't think for that price. I mean,
Let's
we're
see if we
wasting
get
time.
somebody to bite on it. You know, I
Well,
don't
I
know
mean,
if.
here's the deal. What would possess you to think that somebody else would bite on it, even if somebody else had it listed?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, why would
We got it appraised,
available to
it's
everybody in the
appraised at
country.
1.8.
Well,
Are you gonna take less money than what your appraisal is? Unless the bank is
Depends on the
standing there,
situation.
if the bank's standing there with wanting it, and I know all about that because I went through it.
Let me say this. If I own a piece of property and I call Keith Urban to give me an appraisal, are you gonna give me a bad one? No, because I'm paying you. You're gonna give me a great one. Now, can I go out here and get that? Probably not, but you did what I paid you to do. It's just like a home inspection. I deal with them constantly. They gotta find something, because they're getting paid to find something. If you paid for the appraisal, let the guy buying the building get an appraisal and see what it appraises for. You're not looking at that right. I mean, it just don't work that way.
You know, right here, I got this email. Developer unveils 70 acres of mixed-use project in Boones Creek. Where's this at?
Over off of.
Is that right there behind McDonald's and?
That was the profit, I think that's the land I think Lynn Hodge is trying to sell
Right across the power board. I think.
across from the power board up to the left. That was Bill Profits.
Well, I don't know where.
That's where it's
What
at.
about, I mean, all that property right there around behind McDonald's and all that right in there, the fire.
That sold for
around-
$25,000 an acre from a guy from California. That's what I'm telling you. The back part of that ain't worth it.
I can go in there and cut the dang power off. Let
Well,
them
you
sit
can't, we've tried.
there. All we gotta do is make a motion to go in there and cut the power off. Let her sit there.
The insurance company said.
I was
they
gonna
cut
say,
one car.
We can get insurance through Farm Bureau. I've done asked them if they would give us $1 million coverage on that building over there. And he's supposed to be getting us a price.
I thought it was worth 1.8.
I'm just gonna cover the building. We just get somebody to put some kind of insurance on that building and sit on it. That's all I'm looking for. I mean,
We need to sell it. We don't need to sell
I'm
it.
not gonna give it away, Jason.
Well, I ain't saying give
It's
it
got to
away.
be
You
worth more than $1 million.
it's worth what somebody will pay for it. You know that.
All right, then, I mean.
We ain't had no offers.
No. But I'm like Chad, or Todd. Why can't somebody make an offer?
Well, 'cause it's priced too high.
No,
You-
no.
I ain't gonna
If
go-
you wanna go buy something and it's priced high, if you're interested in it, you're gonna make an offer.
Not an insulting, ridiculous offer. I don't do business that way. I might say if it's $350, I might say I'll give you 3 1/4, 315, but I ain't gonna say I'll give you 150.
Well, whatever. I mean, we'll do whatever you want to in the board meeting. It's got to be a board decision.
Yeah, I just think I think we ought to rediscuss it with everybody, and, I mean, heck, we need to discuss it every month, if that's what it takes.
When did we lower that price?
It's been about 2 months ago.
It was
That
last
long?
month.
It was last month before.
It was last month when we done.
I mean, honestly, I know what your heart says, but
Well,
if you
I
price
don't wanna
something,
lower it 1 month and then lower it again the next month. Hell, far, that's just showing them that we're wanting to get rid of it.
we do. We do. We need to price it reasonable.
Well,
Let me give you an example.
what is reasonable then? I
Well,
mean, there's gonna be 9 people.
Let me throw
What
this out there.
reasonable is.
Okay, in my world, I'm a residential guy. There was $6 million houses sold last year in this area, just 6. Okay, there was hundreds of $325,000 houses. So, in the commercial, it's sort of the same deal. I mean, how many people's looking to spend $1.5 million to turn around and spend several million more dollars on that piece of property after they get it? I mean, if they can't buy the land right, then they
Well,
can't do the rest of the project.
you say price it reasonably, and I'm all for that. I've got no problem with it. I'm not a realtor. I don't know. But what your reasonable is, and the other 8's is gonna be different. But every time we go to discuss something, first thing anybody does is wanna jump up, I make a motion, we do this. And we hadn't even had time to discuss it. Now, if we can have a discussion amongst this board, and let's figure out what a reasonable price is before somebody goes and hoots and hollers what they wanna do, their own personal thing,
Right.
that'd be great. But it don't seem to work that way.
Well, and I don't wanna do that. I mean, I wanna be in agreement with everybody else, but I mean, in my mind, that building is a complete liability.
I agree.
There
I
is
agree.
no value whatsoever. So here's in my mind, if you ask what I think. You got an appraisal, it's 1.7. You got a $250,000 liability sitting there. Price it at 1.4, 1.5. Cause that is, if anything, that would be high-end realistic. Because somebody's gotta get rid of that building. Nobody's gonna want that building, I promise you. That land's too good for that building. I mean, really.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I mean,
That's why I asked, what if we tore it down? And, went from there, but I guess maybe we wouldn't make enough.
well, we'd be back to where I'm saying just go to begin with and let somebody else deal with the trouble of tearing it down. Put it down there about 1.4, 1.5. If you don't get anything, then, I mean, it's pretty simple. If you got something out there, everybody in the country knows it's out there, if they want it. If it's priced too high, nobody's gonna even bother you with it. If you get it down there halfway reasonable and you get an offer or two, then you got some leverage to work. But we ain't even got an offer. I mean, we ain't hardly got a looker.
I mean, I think it's all right, you don't need a motion, I don't guess, to do this Thursday night, but just have it in the minutes. I guess I'll make a motion to recommend we open discussions up again about the price of the Boones Creek Middle School.
Mitch has got it on the screen.
Hey, Phil,
There's it gone. Okay, I'll second it.
if we would tear it down,
Can I say something, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
Would you allow me to say something?
Make it quick.
Well, that's impossible, but
there's at least one fuel
to say though, with not getting any offers at all, we're too high. There's nobody interested. But the bad thing is, I would like to see us, I mean, really and truly, I'd like to see us open it up and have an auction and have a 10-day period where people can increase the price, and then we could sell it, or we could, you know, put it on the market with a for sale sign on it. You know what I mean? But it would give all nine of us an opportunity to know what it's exactly worth.
Did you? Oh,
Yes, sir.
I mean, you could do an auction with the reserve, right?
Yeah, what you'd do is you'd have a reserve, but you'd also have a 10-day period where they can increase the price by 5%.
Yeah.
And you can do that one up to the 10th day. And what it would do is, if you had an auction out there and say you didn't bring but 800,000, and you know some of your big people, I can't believe they, if you say, well,
You're cutting out, Chad. We're not getting there.
hear me now?
Yes.
better.
I said you could do it with a 10-day period of increasing the price. And we do it all the time at these auctions, especially when it's just real estate, especially when it's involving the courts. And you know, a government building's kind of like that too. But it gives somebody an opportunity, even if they didn't come to the auction, they heard what he brought, and it's going to get out there what he brought. And we could, you know, see if it's enough, you know, the increase in price was enough to sell it. Or we could do a sealed bid with a reserve, and we could keep that reserve to ourselves. I just wonder with the attorney, would we have to give out the highest sealed bid, or would it be a public document then? Do you know, Dr. Flannery?
We haven't had an auction around here in so long. My guess is the lawyer would say that's a public document.
I wonder, Dr. Flannery, if, and we might ask Scott, I wonder if you don't have to release it if the reserve's not met. In other words, no action took place.
Right, I believe
Right.
that's, if you set a reserve, I'm sure you don't have to.
Yeah.
How do we set a reserve without the public knowing?
Huh? Don't tell them.
There's 9 of us. You think that's happening?
No, that's a good point, 'cause you have to do that in an open meeting, so yeah, there's no
Well,
way to do
I
that.
mean, the reserve would be 1.8.
Well, really, the reserve would be nothing. It would be confirmation to, you know, the board's approval, which,
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
have to prove it.
yeah, let's just say we put the reserve on at 1.8. Well, that don't mean that if it doesn't bring 1.8, we can't sell it. Because if any of you have ever been to an auction, you know, somebody think, well, their stuff's worth 20,000, say a car, well, it brings 18,000. A lot of people sometimes will sell it. You know, the reserve on it was 20,
Right.
but took 18 for it and they let her go. I mean,
Yeah, but if you publish the reserve and somebody's only gonna give you 18, they're probably not even gonna play because they don't think that you're gonna meet the reserve.
yeah, but I wouldn't, the reserve won't be out there.
Yeah, right. You wouldn't.
Yep.
The only thing about that, Chad, not necessarily negative, but one thing to think about, if you go into the auction, if I was looking at it, I'm gonna look at what the list price was before. I don't know if that'd matter or not.
Mr. Dave,
Yes, sir.
Well, no, but it ain't gonna, when you get that 10-day buy-in period, you can increase it 5%. I mean, especially if you've got an auction company, I mean, you know, they're gonna get so much if you do sell it. And it's gonna cost you about $3,000 to $5,000 to advertise it. So it will be an out-of-pocket expense. But your auctioneer, if he, you know, auction company, say if he puts that up for auction and it don't bring but 800,000, I'll guarantee he's gonna make some phone calls trying to get some people to enter, to try to bump that up, you know, 5% bumps. And then, I mean, it's just a thought, but I swear, at least, I guarantee that would at least give us an option of what it's worth. It may scare us, I don't
Well,
know.
I don't, Chad, can we do that with it being listed, don't we have to wait till after the listing is expired before we try to auction it?
Well,
I
if we
think
talk
you
to
do.
Joe or Brian and say, listen, we're wanting to go the auction round, I believe they'd let you out of your contract. And if they do, then open it up, let auction companies come out. Ron Ramsey, I'm sure, put
Yeah.
one in. I'm sure, Mountain Empire would put one in. There'd be several people put in for it, but I think he would let us out of that contract. I think he would. He may not. And if he doesn't, we signed a year contract
Yeah.
with him.
Well, the other thing is, does he still got an auctioneer license?
Who's that?
Joe.
Joe,
He does, but if you open it up to auction, I think the fair thing would be to see who would do it for the cheapest,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's still gonna be 5 to 10%.
It's a negotiable thing. If it
Yeah,
reaches
but-
a certain price, that's what, when I sold my house, that's what Ramsey said. I made an agreement with him when we sold it, so.
Well, and that's what, all that's negotiable, but the bad thing about it, when we do a sealed bid like that, I don't know that we,
I
with
don't
being
know.
a good entity, we lose our negotiating power on some of that. May not, but
I don't know if we want a sealed bid. I think we ought to just have a downright auction.
yeah, I think your sealed bid's gonna be public anyway when you open them.
It is. Mr. Day, that was what I was wanting to bring up. To my memory, the only other time this board has sold property, it was sealed bids.
Gotcha.
But
Well-
we
that's
don't
the way
have to
Sullivan
do
County
sealed
done all
bids,
their,
right?
don't access extra property. If they done sealed bid, that's how they got rid of all theirs, which some of it didn't bring nothing, but they got rid of it. So
I'm
it would
glad-
at least give the board an opportunity to see what it's really worth.
I don't remember exactly, but I've seen some school auctions, and unfortunately, I've never seen one bring a whole lot. The land we got out there is more valuable than anything we got. It's only worth so much.
Well, I know when we sold that Young property right there, and Mitch was there, it sold pretty good for what it was, what was there. And of course, it was just naked ground. But I'm sure those same people will come right over to see what it's worth, the day of the auction. Plus, I wouldn't do it without that 10-day though, that people can raise it 5%. I think that's your safety net to see, that you can get more out of it.
Yeah, I don't think Brigham Young got what he thought he was gonna get out of that property, did he?
No, but satisfied just getting rid of it too, you know what I'm saying, but it
Well-
still cost $1.3 million, or no, maybe it's $1.3 million to buy it all, but it was something around in there.
How many
Yeah,
acres
but
was
that's
that?
my point is that, I think people that are wanting to get rid of property, like Jason said, we think it's worth a lot more than it probably is worth anybody's wanting to buy it. So,
Yep.
it's, we need to move that Boones Creek building out of our ownership. The sooner the better.
Not jumping too far ahead, but one more thing. With that being said, Mitch, what brought something else to my mind, at some point, I don't know when, I'm looking for answers, I guess, but we need to figure out what we're gonna do when this Jonesboro project's gonna start. We need to figure out quickly what we're gonna do with Asbury Midway and et cetera.
The interlocal agreement suggests that when we move into the new school, those properties go up for sale.
At that time.
Yes,
Okay.
and then that money goes directly into the school board's fund balance.
So do we have a plan of where we're putting all those people?
The current Jonesboro Elementary School would house every bit of that very easily.
So I guess that's what I was looking for. When do we work on, or do you work on, when does somebody work on a plan to facilitate that?
I'd say when you get within 9 to 12 months of the opening of the new school, you start with the plan of moving those programs.
Okay.
Do you think Jonesboro School's gonna come in at 32,750?
I
Ball
don't
fields
I don't
and
have
all?
no idea. I don't know.
You're building, build
I
houses.
think,
How much is it?
Don't
gonna
tell
You
be?
ain't never built a school, have you?
Mr. Clay made that clear, I ain't never built a school. I would say, Keith,
But it's not talking about that.
I would say that, yeah, I'd say be real close. I don't think it's gonna be bigger and nicer than Boones Creek. Personally, that's a heck of a school out there.
Well, I don't know.
I think they'll do everything they can to make it that price,
Yeah,
just to get it done.
That's why they wanted to put it on the front of the property, so they didn't have to spend money on retaining
Well,
walls.
that's
Yeah.
what concerns me, because it concerns me that, alright, we got Boones Creek School, it's got everything that needs to be, like it needs to be, like Philip wants it to be. Philip, are you happy with what, I mean,
The infrastructure design will be what we need and what we want.
far as
Yeah.
heating systems and stuff like that, I don't want them to go in there and put
Yeah.
a cheaper, or,
They won't, they won't. You
that's
just-
all I'm asking.
You may not have as much glass, you may have a different facade on the outside, but, you know, what he'll design is what'll bring in, what'll come in the budget. And that'll be designed along with whoever this contractor that they, choose at about 50% of design stage, and with Burleson Construction. They'll put their heads together and put the finishes in the school that'll stay in the budget. Yeah, you can build it, you know, you can build something for
I mean-
$75 a square foot or something for $225 a square foot, so.
And what was Boones Creek a square foot? What did that price?
I can't remember now, it's,
You remember, Todd?
No.
Mr. Patrick's got something.
Well, you got a motion and a second that you need to address.
Mitch, you remember what Boones Creek was?
For Thursday.
Yeah, to bring the,
You mean
bring
what it
back up
costs?
to,
Yeah.
motion
Square
second
foot.
to bring up the
No, I
discussions
don't.
to sell Boone Creek Middle at the board meeting.
Okay. All right, guys, we got a motion and a second on to bring Boones Creek back to the board Thursday night for discussion on sales price,
Price adjustment, yeah.
price adjustment. And so all in favor?
Hey, whoa, can I say something right quick?
I guess.
Can we leave that till we go to, some law?
You got a
Well, if we
motion.
don't go to summer law,
Huh?
well, if we don't go to summer law,
Oh, that may not go?
well, Dr. Flanders says a lot of people don't want to go to Superior County right now, so we may see a motion to not go. But we don't know that.
Okay.
You got a motion and a second.
Yeah. Let's vote. All in favor? All opposed? Sounds Chad. Okay, Mr. Patrick had something for us?
I don't, I mean, everybody received the, little update that I put in there. Should have received it electronically. I'll be happy to try to answer any questions.
I have one.
Okay,
Bats.
they're these little fuzzy rats that fly. Yes, sir, they are back.
I'm going to come to the board
Can we-
Thursday night and ask for a declaration of a state of emergency so that we can move forward with contracting professional services for bat, not eradication, but removal. I don't wanna go through a 60-day bid process, I wanna go ahead and start a meeting.
Did y'all hear that? Chad Mitch?
No, I did not.
Dr. Flanders, he was saying he's gonna come to the board Thursday night with a state of emergency to get these bats, to hire a contractor to get these bats removed, so we don't have to go through a 60-day bid process. Is that good enough?
Are these our same bats that we had back in the spring?
They're children.
Well, I'm really not sure. Mitch, they don't ban them, so I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I don't mean any disrespect. Not sure if they're the same or not. I mean, there are pups in there. They call them pups now, the babies.
Well, it's the same facility, it's the same school,
Same
right?
facility, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah, still more gym.
I thought that was all fixed.
we did too.
Yeah.
Well, they fixed something, they just didn't get the bats out.
Uh,
I don't know what happened there. Anyway, alright, is that it?
We don't have no way of holding the people we already paid responsible, do we?
No, sir. I've been in contact with a contractor that does guarantee his work. Now, if he puts, if he seals up places where they came in and so forth, and that's all well and good, and he'll guarantee that work. If there's another place they come in, that's not guaranteed. But now he has been over the building very thoroughly, and, we'll be sharing that price with you all later.
Mr. Ganger,
Philip, the Boones Creek flooring, don't really care about it necessarily, but moving forward with this new Jonesboro school, seems like every school we've built, we've had that same problem.
That's the reason the architect, Ken Ross Architect, says there'll probably be no VCT in Jonesboro School.
Okay, that's where I was going with that. I would like for you to speak up to them
We will.
about
I
how.
will, and you rest assured, I'm gonna try to do anything but VCT. There's a lot of other products out there. There's even stained concrete like you see at Lowe's, or like you see at Jonesboro Middle
Yeah.
School down the hallways.
We've had some board members bring that up.
And it looks really nice. I'm not sure it'd be great in the classroom, but we can go a lighter color in the classroom and still have stained concrete, and it look like, you know, marble or like a Lowe's floor. And with some color on the wall, it probably wouldn't look bad at all, so. Yeah, they're exploring all those different options.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
my whole house is concrete floors, I got brown on the bottom and gray up top. It's alright. Inexpensive.
Hey, Mr. Patrick,
Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say thank you for mowing them, retaining walls over at Boones Creek.
You're welcome. I think we've got us a little machine, we're gonna take care of that, and if that doesn't work, I'm going to, spray them with poison, put some landscaping cloth down and rock them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I seen Grandview looks a whole lot better too, so thanks for,
We,
Jumping on
yeah, we've
that.
been able to get around a little bit and do a little extra work, yes, sir.
Alright, all hearts and minds clear. Same meeting
hey,
adjourned.
one more thing, if you don't care, Mr. Chairman.
What is it, Mr. Fleener?
I would like to know when we hear talk in the next little bit, what the deal is for for Boones Creek Elementary School. I
Well,
don't,
we talked about that here at the beginning, a little bit. We discussed maybe Thursday night, is that right? We're gonna discuss.
We had a motion to
Yeah,
go to the
motion.
commission. Hugh,
We're gonna take it to the Hugh Commission, board's gonna come up with an amount to ask the Hugh for some finances to help cover the cost of that sitting there until a decision's made.
yeah, and I think we need to have a time frame that if it's not made, then we need to go back and see if this is really what we're gonna do.
Well, and I spoke with Mr. Grandy today, and he's gonna go to the state, ASAP and discuss that we're ready to do something.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Are you done now?
Well, I can't think of nothing right now.
All right, meeting adjourned.